Barstool Sports. Titus, Brandon Walker. Mostly sports.
You've already worn that shirt on the show, you know.
I've worn the. Are you can, Brandon? You cannot open every single day criticizing my shirt only for me to tell you the exact same thing every single day. I have no clothes right now. My wife bought me 3 new Lord of the Rings t-shirts.
Oh my God.
Which are supposed to be coming in this week. So it's a big week for me.
That's the only thing that's clean on them, I think.
Yeah, okay, relax. No, I have clean underwear, clean jeans, and a clean shirt. That voice you've heard, I guess we'll get to in a minute.
Well, we also saw his face, not just a voice.
I'll also talk a little bit later. I guess I need to get some Vuori. Vuori, hook it up. But we'll get there. We'll get there.
We'll get there. You are going to explain who that is?
I will explain who that is. But first, I want you to explain what the best way and the best drink is and what the best way to enjoy said drink.
Why are you
during this hot Chicago
why are you
summer?
Louisiana people walking around here with these Play Boosie hats?
Because a very nice man, Chris Landry, shout out, longtime fan of my programs back home, just a good dude. He sent me and Megan a care package with a bunch of badass Play Boosie hats. This is my aesthetic. Half Disney adult, half complete degenerate. So it's
I'd say it's 100%. But I'd say
100% of both.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. Well, we got another ad for Jagermeister right here, so I guess I'll just drone on and on and on and on about the same old ad that we always do. Nope, not going to do that because Connor's on the O.J. Simpson Memorial bench today, so we don't even have a camera on him right now.
Well, we just got one.
We don't even have a camera on him right now. So what he's going to do is he's going to chime in from the cheap seats, and I'm going to say ice cold shots, and he's going to say, "Damn, that's cold." Are you ready, Connor?
Yeah.
So the thing about Jagermeister, we've been drinking it all wrong. We need to be drinking it at 0 degrees Fahrenheit. Ice cold shots.
Damn, that's cold.
What? You have
There's
a mic.
Yeah,
but nobody's doing.
Far away. I have to project.
I like the beat. He's doing like a cheap seats thing. You said cheap seats, so now it sounds like he's in the cheap seats.
Well, it's just when I said ice cold shots.
I don't think you heard me. Damn, that's cold, Brandon.
There you go.
Once again, make sure you're drinking it the right way. Ice cold shots.
Damn, that's cold.
Hey, he got closer.
Yeah.
He got upgraded. Look at
Hey,
this guy.
sometimes.
He got the fan of the game. Yeah.
He's in section 200 now.
So wherever you're at, if you're hanging with friends or at the bar, maybe you're doing all the sports stuff, just the mostly sports stuff, call the shots. Cheers with ice cold Jagermeister. Remember to check Jagermeister out at Jagermeister.com. Drink responsibly. Jagermeister liqueur, 35% alcohol by volume, imported by Mass Jagermeister U.S., White Plains, New York.
And it's good for your breath. Right?
And it's good for your. I never considered that. It's a lot of fucking botanicals in there.
56 to be exact.
56?
Yeah, it's fantastic.
Plenty.
So that voice, you don't have to introduce him to me.
No.
That is, you introduce him.
So that
your
voice
father.
you are hearing is my namesake, the second of which, my grandfather, his father's the first, Bobby Joseph Abear. He is the second, I'm the third. My son is the fourth. That is Bobby Joseph Abear the second, the Cajun Cannon, USFL champion in 1983 with the Michigan Panthers. Longtime Saints quarterback, longtime Falcons quarterback, 15-year professional football vet, and a man who has been doing radio for the New Orleans Saints, South Louisiana for now 30 years, 20 years? What are we up to, 25 years?
I started out in Atlanta 7 years, and then so 27.
27 years worth of radio.
And just primarily focused on right now doing the Saints, the pre and the post game, the coaches show at the Silver Slipper Casino down in Bay St. Louis, Mississippi.
Sure.
Shout out
So we're
Silver.
doing that. But,
Come on down.
But you know, a lot of the younger Saints fans, they don't look at me. You know, like their parents have to say, "Yeah, he used to play quarterback for the Saints," because they don't look at Drew Brees and go, "He has white hair. How did he play quarterback for the Saints?" But they remember me now as the founding father of the Who Dat Nation.
Yes, I apologize. He's the founding father of the Who Dat.
Those words were never uttered until I uttered them. 3 days, and I always remember this because Pearl Harbor, December the 7th, December the 10th.
That's the two big things in December. Pearl Harbor the 7th and Who Dat the 10th.
The December the 10th, and what came about because of Hurricane Katrina in 2005, they had a number of people that were displaced. You know, and they all over. And, you know, the power of WWL, the big stick, 870, at nighttime, when it goes to 33 states.
Sure.
So all of a sudden, we're doing the post game. The Saints had just whipped Sunday Night Football the Cowgirls' ass. Mm-hmm. I mean, it was like
Cowgirls. He refuses to call them the Cowboys.
No, they're Cowgirls. You know, and then you might say, "Oh, Abear, you must have Dallas must have whipped your butt when you played." Not so fast. I played them 4 times, up 3-1.
Uh-huh.
The
I really thought you were going to say 4-0 the way you.
No, I would have been 4-0 if Troy Aikman, then when I was playing in Atlanta, had a last-minute
I remember
drive
that
to
game.
beat
It's one of
us.
the only games I remember.
But then, one of my claims to fame, I'm going off on a tangent. We were playing Dallas and Troy Aikman. When I was there, just won the Super Bowl before. That's when they had, you know, Michael Irvin, Emmitt Smith, Troy Aikman, and all. And I knew they were going to blitz. And I told June Jones, put Deion Sanders in the game because I know they bring in cover 0 and they want to knock the crap out of him. You know, we doing the run and shoot. I'm going to catch the ball. And I said, whoever's trying to cover Deion one-on-one, there's no way they could cover him. So lo and behold, you know, depending on the leverage, hard inside, so he breaks out. I get waylaid. I throw it to him. You know, he's high stepping. He's going 70 plus 75-yard touchdown. So I said, I'm probably one of the few people in the NFL, I think maybe Troy Aikman might have did it, who actually threw Deion Sanders an interception and a touchdown in a real NFL game.
Yeah.
So when I was with the Saints against the Falcons, then I was with the Falcons when Deion was there with Andre Rice and Van Boone, and then and then that was against Dallas. Now going back to what happened.
I was going to say that was a story inside of a story.
Yeah, inside of the story.
One other thing.
Hey, I've had 11 concussions.
You're getting the full Cajun Cannon experience.
You know, because I had 11 concussions, but never more than one in a year. I had 11 and 15.
Spaced them out the right way.
So one day you might hear me like, "What the hell Abear is saying?" You know, like and I'm drooling at the mouth and all that. But what came about the Who Dat Nation was the Saints and Coach Payton, Sean Payton, who's now with the Denver Broncos. His mentor was Bill Parcells. And so all of a sudden, the Saints are playing Dallas, and we whooped them. We beat them like 42-17. So instead of doing the post game until 1 a.m., we did it till 3 a.m.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, you have fans calling in from Virginia, from Missouri. And I finally said, I said, you know what? And they were crying. It's so great to hear your voice. I feel like I'm back in Louisiana. I've been displaced because of Katrina. Now, this December of 2006.
Yeah.
And then we just not celebrating, we're going to recognize is the 20th anniversary at the end of August of Katrina and the devastation that came about there. So all of a sudden, that's what I said. You know what? They were like half crying, and it's a spiritual experience. And I go, there's a Who Dat Nation out there, and it just took off. I should have got the rights to that, though. I don't, because people used to say Who Dat.
Yeah, you should have. He'd have a better shirt.
People would say, yeah, Who Dat say go beat them Saints.
Shirt, to be clear.
But Who Dat Nation. That's when it all started. And
I was going to say, because who that gonna beat them Saints goes way back.
That's why the
well,
80s.
there's a lot of debate between the Bengals and the Saints as to is Who Day or Who Dat.
Who Day? The Cincinnati. That come on, that's a bunch of BS. Who Day? It doesn't even sound right.
Doesn't seem to sound good.
Who
no.
Day? Who Dat?
Yeah.
Which
doesn't sound sounds about the same.
But it sounds like them. It sounds like
no. In the French language, there's no th pronunciation. You could be from Paris. Or you could be a Cajun. When all of a sudden a person who speaks French learns English, there's no th pronunciation. You can learn some every day, but it's the beginning of a word at the end. You say tri, these, those, the, or that.
You like these?
And you like these?
Don't.
You like these nuts?
Okay.
Yeah, come on. I didn't have that many concussions. But the whole thing, it's like you say, come with me instead of with.
Yeah.
Or you say both of them. Like his little brother, who now lives in St. Louis, he told me I can't cheer for the Cubs. I got to go with the Cardinals. Since I've been opening there, I said, I don't know. You have to have a little battle because you can't like the Cubs and the Cardinals. But anyway, I told him one night, even my kids are giving me a hard time about my accent. And I'm watching, World News Tonight or something on TV. And I told his little brother, Bo, I said, Bo, go get your bat. He comes back 10 minutes later. And I said, Bo, didn't I tell you to go get your bat? He goes, Dad, I got it right here. I was telling him to go get cleaned up, like take your bat.
Oh.
And he gets a baseball bat. He thought I was going to show him how to swing. He's like 6, 7 years old. And I go, no, go get cleaned up. I couldn't even get mad at him.
So he's from South, obviously. You can tell he's from deep Cajun country.
Yeah. So
50 miles south of New Orleans.
Cut off.
We're gonna get to our show. I just had one question for you because you just mentioned you hated the Cowgirls, right?
Yes.
You hated them.
Right, but they hated them because I went to school in North Louisiana in Natchitoches, the oldest town in Louisiana, Purchase, 4 years older than New Orleans. And what happened, all of T-Bow's mom, my ex-wife, and she'd have her uncles and all that. He'd go, yeah, y'all doing pretty good. Texas twang. You go, y'all doing pretty good, the Saints. But wait till y'all play them Cowboys.
Yeah.
And I was like, man, how could you cheer for Dallas? You don't even know nobody. And through marriage, you know me, you're going to cheer against me? So that's a bunch of crap.
Wow.
So I said,
fuck the Cowboys.
I didn't know I was
Dallas.
opening up a family wound there.
Yeah.
I was just going to say, it's interesting that you had a career playing as a quarterback in New Orleans, and then you went your second half of your career was with their arch rival, the Falcons.
Yeah.
So
I was a mercenary.
You don't have anybody to hate because you played for both teams that hate each other.
But I was a hard gun. I didn't want to quit at 33. When I was scuba diving in the Turks and Caicos Islands, Jim Finks, all of a sudden goes get Wade Wilson from the Vikings. What, I'm supposed to quit?
Okay. I didn't even know you were scuba diving. My bad.
All of a sudden, I was going to go. Richie Pettibone from Tulane was with the Redskins at the time, Washington, now the Commanders. And then Jerry Glanville, they said, no, come to Atlanta. And they treated me awesome. So here I am. Now I'm going to, now it started free agency. And all of a sudden, I'm going, like the hunting fish and all that. So now we're in South Georgia, and I'm on the quail farm, the quail plantation.
How'd you get from Turks and Caicos to a quail farm that fast?
It was like 2 or 3 days later.
Okay.
Yeah. So all of a sudden, I felt like an aristocrat. We used to go duck hunting and all that. So now I'm quail hunting, and we're on horseback.
Yeah.
Man, you got your shotgun in here, and I never forget Rankin Smith before Arthur Blank, Home Depot. Rankin Smith owned the Falcons then, so we on his plantation and we quail hunting. I felt like out of Africa because all of a sudden we're eating lunch. They had this big spread, the white tablecloth and all that, and they put the full court press. They gave me to go Atlanta. I didn't realize at the time. Guess who I was hunting with? Who they had? Billy Payne. Have y'all heard of Billy Payne?
Of course, I've heard of Billy Payne.
Who's
Would you tell these
Billy-
people
who's
who Billy
Billy
Payne
Payne?
is?
Okay, Billy Payne
Wasn't he master?
brought the Olympics to Atlanta in 1996 and was the president of Augusta.
Holy shit.
The president.
Nailed it.
Yes. And so all of a sudden, I'm hanging out with him. I said, man, the bigwigs, they really want me to come here. And I never forget, every bird dog you think, the dogs that can go around and they point like where the birds are, and you get off your horse, then you shoot in the air.
What kind of gun were you using?
Shotguns. You shoot out.
That was the flapping of the wing.
Oh, I see. Okay, thank you, T-Bob.
Going up, going everywhere.
the way.
So the problem was they had this, they say all dogs are the same, or no, you have the haves and the have-nots. They had this one dog. Now this is 1993. That was worth $15,000. And guess what the dog's name was? What Rankin and Smith named him? Dion. Yeah. and this dog could run circles around all the other dogs. And he goes, "No, Bob, you see that dog right there? That's Dion. Ain't no dog better than him."
I like that the full court press they put on you, and it worked, was taking you hunting and feeding you food outside.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's all it took.
No, it was like an aristocratic picnic.
Jim thinks and the Saints were not as player friendly or player forward, which we can get into. I mean, this man literally is the genesis of modern NFL free agency.
And you might say, how could that be?
I don't think many people know that. He held
I
out
started.
longer than anybody
I
else.
held out all of 1990.
1990, I remember that. Yeah.
I held out the longest in NFL history. Mm-hmm. T-Bob, you'd have to
Mercenary.
And the bottom line, the players were for me. I mean, I'm a capitalist. I'm like, what's my market value? Well, Jim Finks, who was old school, general manager, Vikings, Bears.
So Benson owned them, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Tom Benson just bought him in 1985.
Yeah.
That's another story. Had the largest signing bonus in NFL history from 1922 to 1985. All of a sudden, I think I'm going to Seattle Seahawks after the USFL folded. And here I'm going to go to Seattle.
Yeah.
Because that's when they were in the same division with the Raiders.
That's right.
My head coach was Charlie Sumner with the Oakland Invaders. Al Davis was out of practice all the time.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden they go, oh, he's going to go to the Raiders. So the Seahawks don't want me to go there. So all of a sudden the Seahawks are going to give me a $500,000 signing bonus, $2 million for 4 years, $500,000 signing bonus. I got to remember Joe Montana,
Brandon Walker deal.
Joe Montana, who already won Super Bowls, he had like $785,000. I go, man, that's almost like Joe Montana. And I never forget, Mr. Bitts had just bought the team. The Saints aren't moving to Jacksonville. The governor gets involved, Edwin Edwards. We need some local flavor. So they call my dad, the local senator. They go, no. And my agent, Greg Campbell, who looked like a cross between Barry Manilow and Gene Wilder if they made a baby.
That's quite the
and
cross.
If you would see that visual and actually get it, he goes, Bobby, this is awesome. He goes, and his claim to fame, he was Howie Long, Lyle Zato's agent, old school players. And so he goes, no, the Saints want you. This could be a great opportunity. So I'll never forget, you're sitting in negotiation like this, and they're going to give me a $750,000 signing bonus. That's right on the Joe Montana. I go, this is awesome. He goes, no, that's not enough. And I'm like, what is he doing? If he screws this up, I'm firing him right now.
Yeah.
That's a bunch of bull. What are you doing? And so all of a sudden, they talking back and forth. That's why a player should never be in a negotiation. Finally, I said, I got to go pee. I have to go to the restroom. So I left. And I was probably gone 20, 25 minutes. I'm in the bathroom. I'm pacing.
Long piss.
I
don't know how?
No. I was like pacing. I was just like, if he screws this up, I'm firing him.
Yeah.
And they called me back in the room. I guess they didn't want me in there. And all of a sudden I think, whoa. So they got it all worked out. All of a sudden they slide a check across the table.
That fast.
$1.2 million.
Wow.
And I had the record for a few months. Then Dan Marino and like Eric Diggins said, well, who's this Hebert guy from the USFL? Then they get $2 million signing bonus. Now the rest is history. I'm not bitter, but if I was playing today, I said that if I was playing today, just what I accomplished, winning 12 games a couple of times, 11 games, 10 games, I'd be worth $150 million.
Yeah.
A shit ton of money.
Yeah. I was
Look at Derek Carr.
Yeah, look at all of them.
Hundreds of millions of dollars.
All right. So we got a lot of show here.
You got to tell me to shut up if I go too many tangents.
No, I'm good.
This is the Canon special.
So number one announcement before we get to the sports. I saw Superman yesterday.
I am
and I have
incredibly
thoughts.
jealous.
I have thoughts. So I don't know if I'm going to get to them on the show, but I'll probably get to them on the show.
Are you going to do spoiler-free
No.
thoughts?
I'll do spoiler free.
Okay.
Yeah.
Can I do my review right now?
Yes.
Massive spoiler.
Wait. No.
Massive spoiler. I'm going to spoil. If
He's doing a bit. He's doing a bit.
Be prepared to mute.
Okay.
Clark Kent is Superman.
Okay. Yes, there we go.
I did not know that.
you had
Shut the fuck up.
Shook my whole world up.
Shut the fuck up.
And he's fucking Lois Lane.
Superman or Clark Kent?
I don't know. I think both. I think she's a two-time
I wonder which one he lasts longer though.
I always.
I would think. If you're Lois, you got to request Superman every time. You get
Amen.
to bed, right?
I mean, I guess. And do you die though?
But I bet Superman don't eat pussy. I bet Clark Kent eats pussy.
Well, you surely wouldn't want to give Superman Viagra.
No, I know.
Alice Levitra.
This is something that. Does anybody remember the Hancock with Will Smith?
Yeah.
So there's a deleted Hancock scene.
Yeah.
Where he's having sex with a girl, and then they pull out. He does too.
Talking about the camera.
But the camera pulls out, and you see the outside of the trailer, and then you just see through the roof like pew, 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 which was his ejaculate.
He was coming bullets.
Yes, he was because he's Superman in that movie. So it's like, what happens to Superman's cum?
So he's literally knocking the back out.
Yeah. So no, well he had to take her off of him, otherwise she would have been
dead,
riddled with holes and dead. So it does make you wonder how a Lois Lane could have sex with Superman versus. I mean, maybe Wonder Woman could handle it. I don't know.
Oh, Wonder Woman, that's a good call.
I don't know if Lois. I think this might be a Mallrats conversation as well. I'm not 100% sure. But I'm very excited to hear your Superman thoughts.
All right. Well, we're going to do my Superman thoughts later. We have, so who released this top 10 quarterbacks in the NFL according to scouts and executives?
This was put out on ESPN. They do it they're going to do running backs, I believe.
Okay, so they talked to scouts and executives. Because last week we had a conversation that it seemed like the first four were locked in, who's number 5. And then ESPN went to scouts and executives. They filled in the next 6 for us. Wow. Jalen Hurts is an interesting spot there. Anyway, before we get to that, I want to talk about that list. But did you see the Major League Baseball draft started last night?
Yeah.
Major League Baseball draft is one of the weirder drafts you'll ever have because nobody knows any of the guys.
The high school guys.
Yeah.
Right. Right.
Well, and even the college players, yours from your team.
LSU.
Maybe the other big SEC one.
Yeah.
You probably don't know, the ACC guys or the random guy from the Big Ten who goes top 25.
So they've been trying to make it a bigger event for a couple of years now. They're never going to succeed because you just don't know enough of the guys. The number one pick last night was a high school guy that wasn't even supposed to go number 1. He just ended up going number 1. You said he's 17 years old, 7 months?
Willits. Youngest number 1 overall pick ever, 17 years, 7 months. The youngest since Ken Griffey Jr. also selected at 17 years old back in 1987.
I'd say that worked out.
That's insane. Yeah, exactly. Right. So that's why you write that line is to be like, oh, Eli's the next Ken Griffey now, dude. Easily.
So I was watching it or keeping up with it, and I noticed there's a high school in California, Corona High School. Mm-hmm. Now, this is a public high school. This isn't like a
private.
This isn't a private. I assume they probably do recruit a little bit, but I don't think it's somebody. It's not like an IMG either. I don't believe
in Florida.
But Corona had 2 of the top 10 picks, and then added a third first-round pick later on in the night. 3 first-round picks from the same high school. 2 of them were in the top 10. Is this the greatest modern accomplishment in sports? This is just a public high school.
Well, did they lose a game?
I don't know. I haven't looked at it.
Actually, we should look it up. Get on it.
We have a laptop right beside you, and it sometimes is able to look things up. Most of the time is not. So we'll see.
Yeah, but when you think about it was a domination. You know who was dominant this year in baseball? When you're talking about a program,
who?
LSU Shreveport.
That's right. Yeah.
50. What they were 53-0.
I think they was either 53 or 59.
They ended up winning the national title, and they never got beat.
Yeah, never got beat. I don't care what it is, what level. If you're undefeated, you're undefeated, right?
Well, especially in baseball. I
mean,
anything. But baseball's like a high.
Look at the Dolphins. No one's been able to catch the Dolphins record.
No, I agree, but baseball's still even different in that
the worst team can beat the best.
Yes, yes. Little Rock, Arkansas had the worst RPI in the entire tournament. They had LSU against.
My alma mater beat the national champs. They 10-run ruled them. Northwestern State University and Natchitoches, the middle of the week, 10-run ruled LSU in the latter part of the season.
Yeah.
Not LSU Shreveport, bitch.
Corona High School finished 28-3 with a loss to.
Who were the 3?
They lost to Venice 5-0. They lost to Santiago 1-0. I believe it looks like they lost the state championship to St. John Boston.
They did not win the state championship.
Wow,
they had 3.
St. John.
It was at least their last game of the season, 5-27.
They had 3 first-round picks, and they did not win the state championship. Well, I mean, obviously, California's probably the best baseball.
Yeah.
But St.
They
John
have so many
Bosco is
people.
it's
Yeah.
a private school.
I got shut out.
They had right-hand pitcher Seth Hernandez go 6th to the Pirates. So shortstop Billy Carlson went 10th to the White Sox, and I'm not sure what position Brady Ebel plays. I'll look it up.
I think he was also, and he might not have played it, but I think he was also listed as a shortstop.
They had another guy go later, too.
Another one, they had a 4th go 150?
No way, dude.
They had 4 guys. This high school team had 4 guys in the top 150 of the draft. They had 3 in the top. I thought Brady Ebel was also a first-round pick, so I apologize.
Are we going to be the first show to call for Corona high school head coach's job?
I think we got to have a long conversation about who's calling the shots over there at Corona. It seems like they just ran into a couple pitchers and couldn't do anything with them. So maybe. I don't know. Those questions need to be asked.
That's baseball, right? That
is baseball, and obviously you're probably. I would imagine.
Andy Wise is the head coach.
I think he played.
I don't think he's wise.
I think Andy Wise sounds like he played for the Dodgers.
Let's see.
I'm just going to say Andy Wise played for the Dodgers. I'm just going to call that shot right now.
Let's see.
Well,
here.
I don't think he's a wise man.
And the only Andrew Wise on Wikipedia is an English publisher in London during the Elizabethan era.
Looks like he played some independent league. He played Sioux Falls.
Wait, are we really getting into the Corona high school coach? Really?
Yeah. He played 8 seasons of independent ball as a pitcher with a 4.51 ERA.
So what qualifies him to handle these first-round picks? I'm just saying.
I don't know.
Maybe does he have a son on the team? Might be a future stud.
I don't know.
Well, the Elizabethan Andrew Wise actually
we're still doing that.
Issued the first editions of 5 different Shakespearean plays.
I'll be goddamn.
Shout out to Andy Wise. He had an eye for talent back in the day. Still does.
Here's another way you pissed me off, by the way, Bobby Abear.
Yeah, get it.
You were here. You got here Thursday. You got to town on Thursday.
Yeah.
And T-Bob told me, hey, my old man's coming on Thursday or Friday. I said, cool. Let him sit on the couch. Be great. And he didn't show up Thursday. He didn't show up Friday. And he comes in and he says, yeah, he wanted to see Ernest Hemingway.
Yeah, but his birthplace.
You want to see Frank Lloyd Wright's? You're in Chicago for a week and a half, 2 weeks, and you go see Frank Lloyd Wright house before you come here?
Yeah, the best part was he shut it down immediately when I asked him to. He
said, fuck that.
Nah, he's like, nah, I'm not doing
No, I have T-Bob, I said, I would gladly, I'd like to go support you and be a part of this, but I said, I have other priorities right now, and look, I'm an Ernest Hemingway fan.
Yeah.
I've been in Key West at his house. I was the nerd, and I remember his house in Key West. I didn't have a swimming pool. I'm sitting on a bench reading one of his books. I'm like fantasizing like I'm back in that day with Ernest Hemingway. Now, I haven't been to Cuba. I want to go to Havana, see his boat and all that. So I said, well, I got to go to Ernest Hemingway's birthplace. So I just didn't want to look at his house. I went on the tour. And then, the look at like late 19th century Frank Lloyd Wright, one of the greatest architects in American history. So I went on that tour. So I said, now I could do bar.
He's a museum.
So now I could do Barstool.
So now we have landed where I wanted to land. Okay. You got your nerddom from him.
Yes, I mean, but look,
he's a nerd. He's just a different nerd than you are.
He's just a history nerd. But this is. I mean, like you're a massive sports nerd.
Yeah, sure.
I mean, everybody is nerdy about something. That's it's something that I've realized because I've gone to a lot of Comic-Cons and stuff of varying high. I've never been like San Diego, but I've been to some bigger ones, smaller ones, whatever. I've been to. I did Super Bowl Radio Row this year. And in all of these things. It's all the same thing.
Yeah.
Just with different interests. Like Super Bowl Radio Row was just mega NFL nerds everywhere, top to bottom.
Stephen Che's walking around.
Yes, exactly. Yes, like what is the difference between Stephen Che and somebody who's dressing up to go see Superman this week? I mean, it's the same thing, just
Asian.
of a different cloth. And yes, maybe a bit of Asian blood mixed in there as well. So no, it's yes, I think everybody. I think it's good to be nerdy about something. Who doesn't like somebody who has passion? They're the easiest people to talk to in the world. Even if you don't know anything about the subject, you can just ask them and they'll just like vomit information at you. I love it.
So let's tear this list apart, okay? I might not even tear it apart, but top 10 quarterbacks in the NFL, ESPN published it according to scouts and execs. This is the go-to list, the definitive list of where the execs and scouts, and we know they never lie. They never try to
manipulate.
Yeah, they never push agendas or anything like that. They are always telling the truth at all times, especially when given anonymity by ESPN. So here are your top 4, which I think we were all in agreement on to start. Mahomes, number 1, Josh Allen, number 2, Joe Burrow, 3, and Lamar Jackson, 4. You could mess around with that order. I might put Jackson ahead of Joe Burrow right now, but whatever. Those are the four. I think those are. Anybody have any disagreements that those are the four?
It is. I'm with you. I think that at least the top four. But I would think at least Jackson would have to be ahead of Burrow. Not be some of the Burrow guy, but like
2-time MVP.
I was about to
Yeah, you're an MVP. They don't give you that because they like you.
I know Jackson has his postseason struggles, but regular season's not even close.
Yeah.
Like you could put Jackson over Allen. Really, if you wanted to. I mean, yeah, Allen's performed better in the playoffs without a doubt, which is why I'm okay with him being up there. But like, no, Jackson should be ahead of Burrow there.
Yeah, Allen's played well in losses in the playoffs. Now, he's had some losses where he didn't play well at all.
Well, he's got like the best playoff stats ever.
Yeah,
but just has nothing to show for it because
correct
the number one guy.
So that's where we leave off. Mahomes, number 1. Number 2, Josh Allen. Number 3, Joe Burrow. Number 4, Lamar Jackson. You can play with that order if you want, whatever. That seems to be the unimpeachable top 4. It's where we ran into some questions last week. Number 5, and do you put Jalen Hurts, the defending Super Bowl champion who won the Super Bowl? That's what the defending Super Bowl champion usually does. They win the Super Bowl. Do you put him at number 5? And I said probably not, but I wouldn't drop him very far. Now, this anonymous list by Scouts and Execs has him all the way down at number 9. So it has Jaden Daniels, number 5, Matthew Stafford, 6, Justin Herbert, 7, Jared Goff, 8, Baker Mayfield 10, Jalen Hurts 9. Now, Mr. Abear, I'll have to sit you on the sideline for a second because we have a massive Philadelphia Eagles fan who is sitting up as straight as he can, and his mouth has been pursed to talk this whole time, and he just wants to be heard. So I will allow him to have his moment now. Jalen Hurts at number 9. Connor, thoughts?
Bullshit.
Really?
Fucking bullshit.
I would probably
Bullshit, fucking bullshit.
I don't
Fucking
know.
bullshit.
I would
Motherfucking bullshit.
I'd put him ahead of Goff, right?
Yes.
Goff. Also, Jaden Daniels had a phenomenal rookie season,
But he
and
only-
absolutely could be better than Jalen Hurts down the line.
Yeah, but what if
basing-
he's like Stroud this season?
exactly
Yeah.
like sophomore slump is bound to happen? So basing it off of
Maybe
one
not.
season alone, that is a kind of a ridiculous thing to do. Matthew Stafford.
It does seem like a little flavor of the month. And I love Daniels. His potential is as high as anybody on this list, but it's a little flavor of the month.
He's right. You would have had Stroud here last year.
Yes, 1,000%.
Yeah.
But I don't think he'll have a sophomore slump.
Why-
Maybe that's the LSU
No,
bias.
Well,
there.
I'm saying, but what's the difference between him and Stroud then, do you think?
I don't know. Jane Daniels too cool for school.
Yeah, he is.
I just like, man, he makes the Commanders relevant.
Yeah.
Well, you look at the Texans, the Redskins. I still call them the Commanders. They haven't been good forever, but when I look at you know who I like, and really, I guess younger people tend to cheer more for the younger quarterbacks. You know, who could still spin it, Matthew Stafford.
Yeah.
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 And
Yeah.
he has a pedigree and
Like spinning the ball, because I played quarterback in the NFL. I know what's an outstanding thrower. Like Warren Moon. Warren Moon never threw a duck in his life.
Yeah.
Warren Moon at 41, 42 years old can hang with any 20-year-old.
Yeah.
Dan Marino, no one ever could spin it like Dan Marino.
Love.
Yeah.
Dan Marino, now they thought, oh,
I like
rookie,
this.
he's going to get to the Super Bowl, and then you get to a bunch of Super Bowls. You got to have the supporting cast.
He didn't have a defense.
Dan Marino, people don't realize he threw for 5,000 yards when 5,000 yards meant something. They knocked the crap out of the quarterback. Now they hit you when they lay you down. Oh, you can't hit you too hard. I got hit so hard one time by Reggie White. I remember him in the ground, my eyes are crossed, and then all of a sudden, usually they talking crap to you. I mean, when you're playing the Raiders and all, they all talking, oh, we could be here all day and all that. Well, Reggie White sticks out his hand. They never pick. And then all of a sudden, I did this, my eyes are crossed, and he's witnessing to me. He says, Jesus loves you. and then all of a sudden, I go like, and I'm thinking, what if he was really mad? I think he could kill me. I think he literally could kill me.
Yes.
That's what Buddy Ryan's even. They had Seth Joyner. They had Clyde Simmons.
Yeah.
And then the one that everyone talks about,
Jerome
Golick.
Brown.
Really? That's the old Eagles defense.
And Golick and all. Golick was just like starting, but no Mike and Mike days and all. But I mean, Clyde Simmons and then Reggie White. And then Andre Waters, who couldn't pass coverage, but would knock the crap out of you. Late hits. I mean, I never forget the Reggie White hitting me so hard. And it was so humbling because I played against him in the USFL. He was with the Memphis Showboats, before Eagles and the Packers. But when he was like, the minister of the defense, he's an ordained Baptist minister, and he's picking me up. And he's saying, Jesus loves you.
Yeah.
That's crazy to play football in love, where normally you're just having.
And he's not even mad.
on the mound.
He just knocked the crap out of me, tossing people everywhere. and he's just like going about his business.
It's his job.
T-Bob, you played O-line. Have you ever gone back and watched Reggie White highlights where he's taking his right arm and he's,
He had that
he's
move
throwing all pro. He's throwing like Hall of Fame tackles
Club.
with one arm, throwing him to the ground.
It's like a bit of an evolution of the old. Was it Deacon Jones who did the head slap?
Oh,
Which
yes.
is highly illegal now, but we're
Give you a concussion with a head slap.
just
Bang.
smack your bitch ass. And Reggie White would do that. It just made it legal where he'd get on. He was just so strong.
He'd get right here
Yes,
and just
yes,
throw you.
and toss you.
Toss you out the club.
Now, the only other guy to me that I was intimidated by also was LT, Lawrence Taylor.
Yeah.
You know, usually you go to the line and you kind of wink at the guys and you're messing with them. Now, I think that's when maybe on that little candy, a little sniffing stuff. And then all of a sudden I remember I'm looking at Lawrence Taylor and I'm like, whoa, he looks possessed. He looks like a wolf. Mm-hmm. And I was like, whoa, I was so freaked out.
You didn't wink at him?
No. I was like, oh, I better get it. Like, you know how you get the ball, like, in theory. Okay, 1,001, 1,002. Okay, throw it. When we were playing the Giants, like, and they had Lyndon Marshall from LSU, like 1,001, throw it. Bam, I'm getting hit. And I remember one time we had, ended up being outstanding guard in the NFL, Jim Dombrowski, first-round draft pick out of the University of Virginia, is playing tackle. And I remember, like bull rush. They'll run you over or speed rush, get around you. And remember, I'm getting waylaid. And I go, come on, Dumbro, you got to slow him down. You know what I'm saying? A few choice words and all that. And then he was so discouraged. He goes, like, basically almost, like, I'm trying. And then, like, just fighting his behind off and was an outstanding guard.
Yeah.
But it was just like, I said, whoa, that's, a long day.
Well, this isn't a pass rusher, but did you ever get hit by Ronnie Lott?
Yes, yeah, on a blitz, the cover zero, and they come in. I don't know if this is urban legend, but I think this really happened. Don't you know, if you look at Ronnie Lott's hand, I don't know, is that for right?
Yeah, that's real.
That the tip of his finger
goes the other
he
way.
just told he told the trainer to cut it off. It got caught in the jersey.
Like halftime of the Super Bowl or something.
He got caught in the jersey, and he said, just clip it off. And then, Ronnie Lott, talking about bringing it. No, he was... I got this Ronnie Lott story. Now that you brought that up, Craig Hayward.
My bad.
His son, Cameron Hayward.
Yeah, Craig Ironhead.
Yeah.
Craig Ironhead Hayward, his son Cameron, plays with the Steelers. Well, with Ironhead, he's in the backfield, and all of a sudden we play in the 49ers, and then we're in the red zone. They go, they're going to blitz. And we practice this, this is a touchdown. This is a touchdown. It's going to happen. And all of a sudden I see Ronnie Lott coming off the corner. Now I'm going to catch it and basically throw it because they come and they bring in the blitz. We have the right play. Eric Martin was my go-to receiver at the time. And so with Ironhead, Craig Hayward, all of a sudden he goes the wrong direction. And he doesn't block like Lott coming off the corner. The outside guy's going to be free. And I go, Head, what are you doing? We just practiced all week. You got to block him. And I couldn't even chew him out or get on him more because he goes, oh, man, I forgot. and he's laughing. I go, this is like crazy.
My bad.
And then I go, oh, man, I forgot. I said, yeah, we just practiced this all week. And I couldn't get, I love having Ironhead in the backfield. It was like having a guard.
Yeah.
And June Jones loved him because he came to Saints Falcons and, it was like having an offensive guard in the backfield with the run and shoot, blocking those guys coming off the edge. So sorry to stop the QB conversation.
Okay. So getting back to the quarterback.
Well, I want to talk to Connor real quick.
yes.
So
Herbert on there is also crazy.
no, it's not. Herbert's definitely a top 10 quarterback.
Herbert
top 10, but ahead of Hurts.
Herbert at 7 to me. I agree. Herbert's stock is a bit.
I don't have a problem. I think Herbert is
Watch out in the AFC West. I'm telling you this year with Harbaugh and Herbert. I think this might maybe they turned the
You're probably
corner.
right.
It's still a little projection, I think, with Herbert because you see it. You see the projectables, you see the arm, you see everything, and it hasn't. Hurts is like the opposite of this, right? Like Hurts,
He's produced.
Hurts, you don't really see it, and then you look at the results, and they're like incredible. But with Herbert, you see it, and maybe the results don't match up to what your brain tells you it ought to be. But I don't have a real problem with Herbert over Hurts. Now, Goff over Hurts, I think is kind of crazy. Goff's just been in the most amazing situation you could be in over the last couple of years.
So the deal with Hurts, and I think you might have said this last week at some point, Brandon. You talked about how like when you need a big game from Hurts, he always shows up.
He's a winner.
So that's what I say. I think the deal with Hurts is he actually is not. I don't know if he doesn't care. Maybe it's just a system he's falling into, whatever. But He cares about winning most, so he doesn't. It seems like he doesn't care if he has the stats every week. Like he doesn't need the week-to-week stats. He wants to do whatever the game plan says for him to win. And then, look at his Super Bowl performances. He should have won too. He was fucking incredible in that first one, and then
yeah, but he shouldn't when he fumbled the ball.
the fumble. That's true. The fumble. You're right.
Other than that, he was unbelievable.
But so I guess the point is like he is someone who will do whatever the game plan asks of him and do it to a T.
Well,
it's just that he's in a situation where he doesn't have to go win every game, maybe like some of these other guys.
You know what I love about Jalen Hurts is how he handles adversity.
Yeah.
Think about it, Alabama, how he got benched.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, we goes to Oklahoma. I'm gonna tell you, a lot of times,
But he stayed the whole season.
Yes, everybody's like, the coach don't like me, or woe is me, and all. They don't know how to handle adversity. Jalen Hurts, you can tell he's a coach's son, and he's too cool for school too. I like the way he does interviews.
Yeah.
And how he talks, he doesn't get overwhelmed. And I got what do you call the magazine? Cigar aficionado?
Aficionado.
I can't pronounce.
Cigar aficionado.
Yeah. So okay, the cigar they have on the back page. They have him sitting by himself on the floor with a Super Bowl trophy and a big stogie.
Yeah. Michael Jordan stuff.
Yeah. And I said, man, he's reflecting on what he just accomplished. No, I'm a big Jalen Hurts fan. I hate Alabama.
Me too.
But like Jalen Hurts. You'd be if your daughter came home with Jalen Hurts. He just seems like a fine individual.
So where do we want Jalen Hurts in this list then?
He's definitely top 10.
I'm saying, but okay, are you putting him ahead of? Oh, so we got our top 4. Are you putting him ahead of Jaden Daniels?
Yes.
I agree.
Right now, yes.
Yeah.
Jaden Daniels, what he's gonna do?
I do like a lock it in year for Daniels. I like a. I don't think 1 year's enough.
Make him earn
Correct.
5. Put him in 8 right now and let him ride.
I think you put him at 8 and say, man, if he is what he was last year, he's going to shoot up this list.
Yes.
Right.
But like C.J. Stroud's a great example. They're coming into the league with rookie expectations is a lot different than going into your second year. And now you've set the bar, and living up to that bar is going to be.
Well, they got more film on you and how they game plan and what's your tendencies. Where do you scramble when the pressure's on? Now, if you can run around like Michael Vick and Lamar, you don't know where they're going to go.
Right.
That's why a lot of times.
And Jaden, I guess.
Yeah, Jaden too. Jaden's like the same way.
He doesn't cut it loose as much as them, but when he does, it's.
I can tell you the knowledge I had. If I had those kind of skills, I know it'd be not just the Saints Hall of Fame, Louisiana Hall of Fame, the Pro Football Hall of Fame.
So
I had all the intangibles.
What you're saying is, if you were as good as these guys, you would have been better.
No. I had the intangibles. No, I had the intangibles.
Okay, all right.
I wish I'd have had Joe Montana's team. You know, Joe Montana's the only quarterback I have a losing record against.
I didn't know that.
I played 11 times, only won 2.
Really?
I have a record against Troy. Small sample size, like Dan Marino.
Yeah.
You know what my record is against Marino?
1-0?
1-0.
Got him.
Okay, sample size.
Got him,
so
bitch.
Steve Young, Pro Football Hall of Fame, Conan USFL, played him 8 times, won 5.
So I told you this earlier, but I was pissed at you. And
I'm an overachiever.
The only NFL game I've ever been to in my entire life was November 10th, 1991, and it was a huge game between the Saints were really good in 91.
Yeah, we finished 11-5, won the NFC West.
That's right. And the 49ers were the defending Super Bowl champs. Yeah, they were defending Super Bowl champs. The Redskins ended up winning it this year. But so we're going to this huge game in New Orleans. We're looking forward to it all season. You play the first 8 games of the season, then you get hurt.
Yeah. I got Sports Illustrated jinx. I was on the cover of Sports Illustrated. So I was 6-0. We played the Bears. I got slammed on my shoulder. Then I was like a wounded duck.
Yeah, it's happened to all of us. So you go out. So I go in. I'm supposed to see Bobby Abear and Joe Montana play in November 10th. And when we get there, the starting quarterbacks are Steve Walsh and Steve Bono for the Niners.
So okay, but
Steve Young was the backup. He was hurt too.
see that right there though is why the quarterbacks get laid on the ground nowadays. That fan experience.
Correct,
Thanks for
yes.
getting Joe Montana.
Couldn't make it halfway through the
Abear,
season.
And you get
Yeah.
Steve Walsh.
But no, because the big money involved, TV and everything.
Yeah, it's a bad fucking feeling as
No.
a fan when all of a sudden you're watching
People
Steve
want to
Bono.
People want to see Pat Mahomes play all the
Right.
time.
Yes.
Yeah.
They want all the studs to play.
You got to protect your investment.
Joe Burrow. I mean, I want to see Joe Burrow. Can you imagine you Bengals? Well, they did pretty good when he did get hurt for a few.
He's all. I mean, that's actually probably the biggest knock against Burrow, right? It's been a little bit of the regular season availability. Actually, I got a fun trivia fact for you, Brandon.
Yes, please.
I mean, you probably know the answer. I'm setting this up, but you know the quarterback that has the longest winning streak against the other conference in NFL history?
No.
Oh, yeah, how about that? This guy right
Bobby
here.
Abear
20-0, 20 game win
Against the
streak
AFC?
Okay, this is the thing. This is now you gotta investigate a little bit.
Well,
Okay,
okay.
Sean Kelly, Sean Kelly, who's the voice of the Florida Gators.
Sure.
Okay, he calls me up, Bobby. I'm doing a game, I think ESPN with the Ravens. He goes, Lamar Jackson has won, like it was 11 or 12, maybe at the most 13, 11 or around there, and he goes, he's beaten the NFC, like let's say 12 times in a row. And he goes, looks like he might end up catching you. Well, I won 20 straight games against the AFC team. And the 21st game, we lost to the Buffalo Bills and Jim Kelly. You remember when they went to the Super Bowl 4 straight years?
I very much do.
Okay,
yeah.
well, that was the time. They were like an NFC team. It's all cyclical. You know, when you look like AFC, NFC, like the NFC South is not very strong, right now. But then when you look at it, the tidbit about that, going 20-0 against the AFC, I'll never forget, we were playing Boomer Esiason and the Bengals, and I ended up hurting my knee, and we were getting waxed. And Dave Wilson came in and brought us back.
Oh, let's go, Dave
and we
Wilson.
won,
Yeah.
but I started the game. So it counts. So 20 straight starts against the AFC opponent. So
Well, now, Mr. Free Agent, I gotta ask you a question. It seems like when you got to free agency in '93, your brain would have said, "Man, I got to get over to the AFC.
right.
I got to get over to the AFC and beat all these teams I've been beating."
But
Well,
they didn't bring him quail hunt.
Yeah, yeah. You know what? It was like, and I still could stay in the South.
Yeah.
I was at my mom and dad catch a plane, New Orleans to Atlanta.
What, 6
You
hours, 7 hours? Yeah.
Yeah, the drive. Yeah, 6.5, 6. Yeah, so very close. So that's why I ended up, and plus with Jerry Glanville, I go from Jim Mora,
Yeah.
the dad, not JL, who's at UConn right now, but the dad. It's a 1-8.
Playoffs.
Yeah,
Playoff.
yeah.
But that was not with the Saints. That was with the Colts.
Yeah.
They never won a playoff game, even with the Colts and Peyton Manning.
Playoffs.
Yeah, playoffs. We're trying to win a damn game.
So Moore never won a playoff game.
And the USFL, he's in 3 straight championships.
Yeah.
We beat him in 83, won 84 and 85 when he was at the Philadelphia Baltimore Stars. But then, so here you have.
He could be making a lot of this stuff up.
No, you look it up. That's one thing. I've been taking Prevagen. I got to do a damn commercial for Prevagen.
Is that a dick pic?
I think no, but my brain. I'm worried about.
Okay.
I'm worried about Alzheimer's in the future and all
Yeah,
that stuff.
well, aren't we all?
Yeah. So I'm looking at that. But Brandon, you made me laugh. I was going to go to
My
that.
bad.
Yeah.
Moore's playoff struggles.
Oh yeah. Okay. So yeah, it was more. No. So going from Moore to Glanville.
Yeah.
Here's Moore, a Marine. We're all straight laced and all that. I'll go to Jerry Glanville, who used to leave tickets for Elvis Presley, and he always dressed in black.
What a
And-
legend.
We don't have guys like that.
Glanville was a trip, and all of a sudden he goes, "Hey, Bear, you gonna love it here. You gonna love it here." He goes, I tell you what, we have in training camp. We call off the meetings, and we gonna party as a team. And he called it Fat Tuesdays on Wednesdays, and Fat Tuesdays is Mardi Gras. He goes, we call it Fat Tuesdays on Wednesdays. So we calling off all the meetings. He said that the team the family that prays together stays together.
Yeah.
He was like, the team that parties together stays together. So he had like all the guys in training camp, and we go and party in Buckhead in Atlanta. And he goes, if you come home before midnight on your own and all that, you better be good or I'm cutting you. He wanted
You had to stay out with the boys.
He
He didn't want the people who were going into
he
getting
wanted
night's sleep.
he wanted to see who could party all night, like burn the candles at both ends. If you're gonna hoot with the owls at night, you better be able to soar with the eagles in the daytime. So he wanted us the next morning, like 8:30 in the morning, like you slept maybe a 2 or 3 hours. And he wanted this, and we're all stretching, throwing up, and all. He wanted to see who can hang, and that was just the atmosphere. So I never forget Scott Case, University of Oklahoma, ended up winning a Super Bowl with Barry Switz in Dallas when they beat the Steelers. So here you got Scott Case, one of the last great white cornerbacks with Jason Sehorn, who actually made the Pro Bowl.
Yeah.
They would throw at Scott Case, and he had a bunch of interceptions because they had Bobby Butler and Dion. So let's attack the white boy. Let's go after him, and then end up being unbelievable. So all of a sudden, we out that night. I'm new to the team, and here's Glanville. And all of a sudden, 2 of the most beautiful women you ever see in your life, and they following him around, and I'm like, damn, look at Jerry. Like, And he goes, and he nudges me. He goes, man, look, Abear, all the women want me and all that. And Sky Case tells him, man, don't believe Jerry. He bought those. He paid for those women to follow him around. He didn't follow him around. But that was, so going from the Saints, which was straight lace, you think New Orleans, but no, Coach Mora, Marines and all that, you know, and then you go to Glanville, it was like, whoa, it was like the traveling all-stars. So it was unbelievable.
That's fucking badass, dude.
Speaking of, it's time for the, what was that, Connor?
Speaking of, you were doing a segue right there.
Well, don't worry, Connor.
He has a great radio voice.
Don't worry.
Thank you very much.
That's
I
what I
appreciate
told him,
that.
too. Yeah, I know.
appreciate
It's
that.
incredible, dude.
Hey, does it work on the girls, though? Or?
Yeah, a little bit, you could say.
No.
Yeah, it does.
It doesn't work on the beach volleyball court, which we do have to update that story after this read.
Okay, yeah, we'll do that, yeah.
Twin Peaks understands that epic sports moments are meant to be witnessed. So in case you missed them, here are the peaks of the week. The peaks of the week in sports. It would be.
That's an old ad, brother.
You forgot to clean up.
Then why didn't you stop me before?
But it sounded good.
I said Twin Peaks. Oh, yeah, you're right.
Sounded good.
Hold on.
You want me to?
No, I got it. This is from Friday, July 11th. You're right. Forgot to clean that one up.
Here, I'll take it.
Yep, there you go. Wow, hands on Abear.
Hand-eye coordination.
There's nothing like getting to a baseball game, especially last minute. Luckily for me, I use Gametime, the official ticketing partner of Barstool Sports. Gametime makes getting tickets faster and easier. Prices on the app actually go down the closer it gets to showtime. They even got exclusive zone deals. You let them choose your seats within a given set of zones, and you get huge savings in return. You can put those savings back in your pocket and spend them at the ballpark on a hot dog, a new hat, or some good old-fashioned Cracker Jack. If you're in Chicago, you can get 10% off zone deals for the Cubs at home on Sunday, July 20th when the Red Sox come to town. They'll be here Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, so check out Gametime for that. Just look for zones 29 through 32 on the Gametime app. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Gametime. Download the Gametime app, create an account, use code MOSTLY for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account, redeem code MOSTLY, MOSTLY, for $20 off. Download the Gametime app today. What time is it? Game time. Now, I don't... we did the peaks of the week the other day, and I have to revisit mine because we learned on Friday that one of the peaks of the week was at the North Avenue Volleyball League.
Yeah, is that what it is?
Yeah, North Avenue Beach.
North Avenue Beach Volleyball League. Connor Griffin, who came into this season a heavy favorite, his team was favored to win it all. They got ousted because the girls on his team just were not that good.
According to
Yeah, but did they look good?
according to
Well, we never got that answer.
They're friends of mine.
Yeah, get a handle on this, would you?
yeah. So Connor made a big deal about his team all year. They got knocked out first round, and he texted the group afterwards, wasn't my fault. I played one of the best games ever, or one of the best games of the season. Our girls were just completely outmatched, which we kind of explained to him that, well, that's not what a leader does here in American sports. Very European. That's very European soccer to blame your teammates. Oh, it wasn't me. Like, it's very Zlatan.
And we found out he might have been lying because the other team had this guy named Luke, this Greek god of a man named Luke that would go up over the net and just spike it on everybody, including Connor. This guy was dominant and was incredible. We found out who Luke was over the weekend.
Yes.
Yeah, he tweeted at me.
Yeah,
Luke has tweeted. And I want to pose this to the group. He says, C. Griff, once again, as a family member, I apologize for handing you your own ass on the sand Thursday. Connor shamelessly blaming the girls on his team when he's afraid to meet me at the net, ... SMH. I'll bring the trophy home for the family.
What about that accusation? Were you afraid to meet him at the net?
He didn't want to break his nose.
Not at all. Not at all. And I have a surprise. We're talking about Luke. We might as well just bring him on. Luke, welcome to the show. We have Luke, the legend from North Avenue Beach.
Now, he looks like a stud volleyball player.
Yeah, he does. A good-looking guy right here.
Well, dude, he's a good-looking dude.
We got into an exchange over the DMs and invited him on the show. So, Luke, how's it going, buddy?
Oh, family, it's great to be here.
Thank God I brought that up. Was he just going to sit there if I didn't bring it up?
He's been sitting in the waiting room. I was going to eventually
You never
bring him
told
on.
us.
Jesus.
It was a surprise. It was a surprise.
Luke, hold on. Luke, how long you been sitting there?
About 45 minutes.
Connor?
He's just listening to early 90s war stories the entire
He's
time.
listening to Bobby Abear talk the whole
Yeah,
time.
he's probably saying, Bobby Hebert before I was even born.
Yeah, shut the fuck up. Luke, first of all, on behalf of Mostly Sports, I would like to say on my behalf, on T-Bob, Ebo, I know Mark Titus, probably TJ too. You are our big hope to go out and win this volleyball championship. Will you bring it home to the family?
Without a doubt.
Luke, how tall are you?
5'10" with shoes on.
5'10"?
He's
Connor, he's 5'10".
He's got a vertical though.
Let's go, dude.
Hold on. You're dominating at the net at 5'10"?
I will say.
Can you dunk a
with that
basketball?
Stands, the nets are a little droopy sometimes. It
Yes.
helps me
Okay.
out, but I can get up there a little bit.
That was a great question by Mr. Abear. Can you dunk a basketball?
In my heyday, I could dunk a volleyball.
Okay.
Oh, that's
I
a
can dunk a
vertical.
volleyball too. I can never quite do a basketball. It's a little harder
Yeah.
to palm.
Did you play volleyball back in school or?
I played one season my freshman year of high
Okay.
school.
Oh, that
So-
speaks to his talent. He's
So
really good.
at what point in the season did you realize that Connor Griffin was A, in the league, and B, you were going to dominate him?
I had no idea we were going to be playing Connor in the playoffs, but I did see him a few weeks before, so I knew he was in the league. And I was hoping I would get the chance to take down the family.
But that's also the thing I wanted to bring up because he went through the entire match. And we shake hands after each set and good set, like switch sides, everything like. He waited to the very end
Smart.
to
So,
bring it up.
so did you get any phone numbers for Connor's teammates? Yeah. I mean,
No,
He dominated Connor's ass so bad.
actually, I do have to say.
and then he stole his women.
No, I do have to say, and I wasn't going to reveal this on the show. Some of the girls did come up to me afterwards when they saw that he and I talked at the net after the game, and they said, "Who is that guy?" Like, so there were girls on my team who were interested. I could put you in contact.
What about the accusation that you were picking on the girls with your volleyball playing?
Yeah, so I do want to address that. There's no chance that was intentional. I just get up there and hit it as hard and as straight as I can. And honestly, I think what it boils down to is it's a rotation problem. I think Connor was purposefully keeping himself in the back row.
No,
Wow.
fuck no.
Wow.
I would never do that.
You were shying away from the net?
It has to be the way that
He
we
saw
do
the
it.
writing on the wall and he didn't want to be blamed.
It has to be guy, girl, and that's how it'll be guy, girl, guy in the front row, and then girl, guy, girl in the back. So I can't help when I wind up at the front of the net. Like after every point we win, we rotate. Like that. That's how you
it's like
do it
yeah,
on North
but-
Avenue Beach.
But it's like you put your best hitter second nowadays, right? Isn't that right?
Yeah.
Try to maximize at bats. So, like, did you purposely place yourself 8 or 9? Like, did you purposely place yourself down?
No.
Well, Luke is nodding his head yes.
Well, Luke also plays on a super team. We should point that
Oh,
out.
it's I thought he was the star player. It's a super team?
They were the best team we played in our 2 years of doing this by a mile.
Well, I think we need some context for that. So
they were stacked.
our teams have the same record. We were actually seeded lower than you all in the tournament.
But that's bullshit, and you know it,
We're
Luke.
peaking. No, it's not bullshit. We're peaking at the right time. We were 2-4, and we just started heating up.
Wow. So
Wait a second. You were 2 and 4?
2-4. I sucked at the beginning of the year.
Oh, well, that makes me feel even worse.
they're like
That's the point of this whole thing, to make you feel worse.
People in the summer, listen, not everybody is as committed to North Avenue Beach as some of us. There are people who take off, they go on vacations. Like, we had like half our roster for some of the year, and I'm assuming it was probably the same thing with you, right?
We had some people missing that game, yeah. But
it's
I'm
the
not
playoffs
sure
now,
how
and you
much
had
of a
everybody.
difference it would have made.
Well,
Okay.
Wait a second, T-Bob. Wait a second. So the other day you blamed the women. Now you're blaming the heart on your team. The people didn't show up enough. You're blaming that now?
Listen, and I didn't show up for one
Just
week
say
because
yes.
I was in Mexico.
Oh, my God.
But sometimes
right before the playoffs. Right before the playoffs,
I came out
he
and I had my
goes
best
to
game,
Mexico.
but whatever. Luke was a great competitor. I stand true. I hated playing him on the court. I did not like seeing you opposite of me, and it's not because I was fearful, but it's because I knew what you were doing.
He's got a great hair and mustache.
I want to know. I want to go watch the competition, but who has the better looking girls?
Exactly.
Hey, Bear, calm down, man.
You are not allowed a North Avenue.
Jesus Christ.
It's not.
He just wants to sit there shirtless, smoking cigars and watching the young women play volleyball.
It's not a
can't
bikini
do
thing.
that.
It's not a bikini thing.
You can't do that anymore.
Because they have the NCAA volleyball championships in in Gulf Shores, Alabama.
Yes,
Yeah.
And
sure.
that gets a lot of attention, to say the least. And you look at it.
I might have to put you in timeout.
Where did you?
They're very athletic girls.
Sure,
I mean, you
sure.
look at they recruit nationwide and worldwide. Look at TCU. TCU's hanging with the UCLA.
You're telling us about the TCU volleyball team?
Yes, they won national championship.
The level of perv.
Luke, do me a favor. First of all, I assume you are in Chicago because you're in that league. So you're in Chicago, correct? When you win the trophy, and listen, I know there's probably not a trophy, but I'll buy a trophy. But anyway, you'll bring the trophy and you'll sit here on the couch with the trophy, correct?
100%.
How many more rounds do we have?
I have no idea. We actually our second round game got rained out.
Yeah.
So we're waiting to hear when it's going to be rescheduled.
So they won against us on Thursday, and then if you win, you stay on the court, and then you play the next round immediately after. So I'm assuming that's what you mean by it got rained out.
Yeah. the
Yeah.
second
So
one
Connor,
got
is it
rained out.
double elimination, or you still have a
Oh
chance?
no, we're done.
they're
We're
all
toast.
done. Okay.
Now there is a second session coming around in a couple weeks that we'll join, and hopefully
Okay.
we come up with some sort of magic. But I don't know. But he's still playing in the first session. He could go for a championship.
Where are you from? I'm getting a little bit of a southern accent. Am I wrong? Oh, okay, Louisville. Okay, hell yeah,
there.
dude. There we go,
How's
baby.
that?
How'd you
Lou.
end up in these parts?
The Lou.
I moved here when I graduated college in October.
Does he look like an amalgamation of every single Barstool employee?
Yeah, well,
There's like Jack McCarthy in there.
It's the young style too. The
Yeah.
great hair, the mustache. They look way cooler than we did coming out of
Yeah,
college.
I don't. I look at our young guys. I look at Connor and Ebo. We could upgrade in a hurry with this guy.
Yeah, but does he have Connor's voice?
I don't know that he has. He has volleyball skill.
Yeah,
that Connor
you
doesn't have.
haven't seen him on North Avenue Beach. He's a damn good player.
I will say, Connor does have a beautiful voice, but the chicks do dig the country accent up here. I will say.
So
All right, dude.
that's how you recruited these Amazonian women to your team. Where did you find these elite women for your volleyball team?
These are just my friends, my roommate's girlfriend.
So Connor, he has better friends than you.
Yeah, he's got better friends than you.
I love my friends. I love my friends.
Do you want to describe what your teammates look like in bikinis right there at all, or you good?
Yeah, I'll tell you exactly what my best friend's girlfriend.
All right, Luke. Thanks for stopping by. Good luck, buddy.
Good luck.
And,
Luke. Hold it down, baby.
This will not be your only appearance on Mostly Sports. You can come back later.
Much appreciated, family. I love y'all. Keep it up.
Family,
Hell
thank
yeah,
you very
Luke.
much.
Thank
That
you,
was
Luke.
great. I can't believe you made that motherfucker sit for 45 minutes. Oh, one more thing. Handsome devil.
Yeah, really good looking.
I mean,
Really good
Yeah, he kind of buried the lead with Luke.
you kind of did.
He's handsome as fuck. Yeah.
And he's 5'10".
5'10's a big upset though. He had a tall look to him, and here in volleyball dominance, I was expecting to get like a 6'4", but then again,
No.
you can't have everything. And if that guy also had 6'4",
then we're all-
on top
yeah,
of the voice,
yeah.
on top of the hair, and everything. It's too
It
much.
looks like he potentially could have a six-pack too.
Yep.
Yeah, he was six-pack
Big-
adjacent for sure.
Seems like an ab haver.
Yeah.
Seems like an ab haver. Something that I will never know.
He leaped like a frog, dude. It was unreal.
I don't like the way you said frog.
But I'll say right now, I'll if he would have me, I'll get in touch with him. I'd go to his game on Thursday.
Oh, do you want to play on his team?
No, I'm not going to play on the team.
You know what, Ebo? I swear to God.
Are you ring chasing?
I was thinking, how is Connor going to weasel his way
He's
on?
gonna ring chase.
I would go watch as a spectator, but
You're going to.
I don't
go,
want to throw off the mojo.
The man who took you out, you're going to go watch him play.
Connor Durant.
I'm not gonna. No, it's not. It's not
Yes.
like that. I'm not going to abandon ship.
Hey, Bobby. You know what that means?
He sounds like Kevin Durant.
You know what?
No.
You know what that means? That means the girls on Luke's team work it looking.
Yes.
Connor's like,
Not saying
I'll be
because
there.
of that.
That's a good content idea. You and him go out there. You'll
How long were you in town?
Shirtless, watching,
I'm here.
watching the North
How long
Carolina
were-
Beach volleyball.
I got to go back on Wednesday. I got to get a colonoscopy on the Friday.
You don't have to tell us that.
No, but the thing is, it's like, Saints are getting ready to go to training camp, and, I covered the Saints during training camp. They're going to practice in Irvine, California, and play the Chargers. So, you got to go to I don't want to blow it off. I'll be 65 August 19th. So what I'm doing now is you go every 6 months. I'm going to the doctor, because your grandpa and grandpa, they'd always blow off. I ain't going to the doctor until I'm sick. Well, when you're sick, it's too late.
Yeah.
So that's why. So and then
Get your butthole checked.
T. Bob's grandfather had colon cancer at 51. So I've been getting a colonoscopy for a long time, and so now you go every 5 years. So you get that.
I had
and,
one, not bad.
And my dad ended up living till 82 years of age, but you got to catch it early.
Sure.
So he's only 51 years of age, and and then end up passed away right before he was 82. My dad, this off on a tangent, he was one of the first 100 people in Louisiana to die of COVID.
Fucking COVID.
Oh,
It was like unbelievable. I was like, his youngest brother's coaching at University of New Orleans basketball team. We all taking a family picture. Like 10 days later, he passed away.
Yeah.
sucks.
It was like it was terrible.
It was
When
terrible.
you started that story, it sounded like it was going to be cool. You're like the first
Yeah,
100 people in
no,
Louisiana.
yeah.
I was like, oh, where is this going? And then-
But you know, my dad would have loved it. He loves sports. They mentioned his name on ESPN not once but twice.
oh, wow.
Bobby Abear's father, because you know COVID's in the news and all that.
Yeah.
He was in the New York Times. They even had his occupation, civil engineer and all that. So I was like, well,
Shout out to the legend, Bobby Senior, dude. Our
yeah.
namesake.
So
Not Robert.
He'd have thought about, you know what, we're all gonna pass away eventually. He goes in, but man, to get that shot out, he'd have thought that was awesome.
His first language was French.
Couldn't speak English
Cajun
till he was in first grade.
I'll be damned.
More like Quebecois, not Parisian French. So
No. Hey guys, remember, I'm talking about my limited closet. I need to take advantage of this. And I'm talking about Vuori. Vuori is an incredibly versatile and comfortable, perfect for whatever your day brings. Designed to look great beyond the gym, whether you're running errands, heading to the office, or meeting up with friends. Their core short is soft, lightweight, 4-way performance stretch. It moves with you, no restrictions. And it's available in 3 inseam options, so you can show off all the stems you want. A perfect fit for every preference. Ebo, what would you say you personally like about Vuori?
If I'm a broken record, but it's and Connor should be wearing more Vuori. He should be wearing all Vuori. Foundational pieces everywhere. Got the shoes, the pants, Jamestown tee.
So that's your foundation. You build it out however you want. Vuori is an investment in your happiness. For our listeners, they're offering 20% off your first purchase. 20% off. Get yourself some of the most comfortable and versatile clothing on the planet at vuori.com/mostly. That's VUORI.com/mostly. Exclusions apply. Visit the website for full terms and conditions. Not only will you receive 20% off your first purchase, but you enjoy free shipping on any U.S. orders over $75 and free returns. So go to Vuori.com/mostly and discover the versatility of Vuori clothing. Exclusions apply. Visit the website for full terms and conditions.
Speaking of our boys in athletic competitions, I just want to congratulate Ebo. What place did you finish?
I forgot to sign up.
But you were.
I didn't go.
You weren't. Oh, you were supposed to.
he was holding out.
He was holding out.
Yeah, well, they didn't pay me.
Okay. All right. Well, you would have certainly.
No, I would have. I would have.
volleyball?
Like I would have.
There was a jockey race this weekend. There was a jockey race.
No. Oh,
That's hilarious.
Oh my God.
Why are they so little?
Oh
It's
my
Photoshop.
God.
It looks like the Wizard of Oz.
Well, also, you're used to seeing these massive thundering beasts on these tracks.
I would have expected more speed, I think.
I'm ready to go like.
I mean, they're running in boots
Oh my
Why
God.
are they running in boots?
and mud.
Because they had to wear their jockey.
They had to wear the
uniform.
jockey
Yeah, you
uniform.
got to wear your jockey.
I'm ready to go like. And lollipop kids, and lollipop kids.
They kind of look like somebody needs to put some Lord of the Rings. It looks like, how it looks like, Brandon. It looks like when the hobbits are running across the bridge of Khazad-dûm to escape the Balrog. You know.
Is that Balrog, the boxer from Street Fighter?
No, but they are making a new Street Fighter movie.
Are they? Yeah.
Hell, who just got cast as Balrog?
Cody Rhodes is Guile.
Yeah, Cody Rhodes is going to be Guile. I like that. I think is not Seth Rollins. Who's
Roman Reigns.
hurt.
also-
Roman Reigns. Roman Reigns is going to be Blanca.
Really?
Yeah, which I'm interested.
Seth Rollins got hurt the other day.
I know. I saw that. I saw him do a backflip, and when he came down, it was like,
Yeah.
oh, that's a real knee that just blew out.
Everybody
That
was hoping that it was storyline, but it
Yes.
looks like it is. Andrew Koji as Ryu.
Oh, sorry,
Akuma.
Roman Reigns
He's
is
Akuma.
Okay,
That-
sorry.
that makes a
way
lot more sense.
I apologize. That
Yeah.
makes a lot more sense than Blanca. Akuma's a fucking badass. I can't remember what the Hadouken. I can't remember what they called their.
Akuma was not in the original Street Fighter 2. He was in the.
Oh, Jason Momoa is Blanca. That makes sense. That's what it is.
Well, Roman Reigns, Jason Momoa are pretty much the same person.
Yeah.
They look very similar. Who we got?
Orville
Noah
Peck is Vega?
Centineo as Ken Masters. So I went to Superman. Me and Tommy.
50 Cent is Balrog.
Really? I don't know about that
weird
one. Isn't he
cast.
tiny?
I mean, I guess he's jacked, but I don't know if he's like.
Man, I know. Is that the one that can't throw out the first pitch?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Wow,
yeah,
that-
that was
Did he ever play sports? Come on.
that
I don't
was
know.
not good.
No, he had to do that on purpose. You can't be that bad.
You ever thrown out a first pitch at a major
Yes.
baseball game? Okay,
No,
well, shit, my bad.
no, AAA.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, the
Zephyrs?
New Orleans Zephyrs. Yeah.
I would say the best first pitch of all time will always be George Bush after September 11th.
Yeah.
Mets, Yankees.
Walking out
all
there.
the pressure in the world, and he goes from the rubber and throws a strike. You ever seen that video? That they have a little documentary you should watch online. It's fucking incredible. Yeah.
I just don't think it was Mets Yankees. But
Wait, what? Oh, what might not have been Mets.
Yankees Diamondbacks.
Yankees. There you go.
Yeah.
There you go.
But that's okay. Hey, that's fine.
Hey, sometimes like a good story needs a little artificial juice.
Yeah, it does.
Any great storyteller is gonna juice things up. Anyway, okay, go on.
All right. The All-Star game is tomorrow night. We have the Home Run Derby tonight in Atlanta. Jacob Mizorowski is the latest flamethrower in Major League Baseball. He is a
Is that the Brewers guy?
yeah. He is skyrocketing right now. He goes out there, throws 102 miles an hour, 103 miles an hour. His slider's 99 miles an hour. He is absolutely fantastic. He's had 5 starts in his career, and he was named to the All-Star game.
Gee.
Why did this bother the Phillies so much?
Because they had 2 All-Star caliber and very deserving resume pitchers that were not taken.
Wheeler's in, right?
Yes.
Wheeler's in, and then
He's not going to pitch, but he was an
Christopher
all-star.
Sanchez has been having an unbelievable year, and also Ranger Suarez has had a very good year.
and they're not getting it, and Jacob Mizorowski is getting it. So
Who-
that's why they're putting on for their guys.
Correct.
So Trey Turner says,
Who should also be an All-Star.
what a joke. That's fucking terrible. I mean, that's terrible, dude. And Nick Castellanos said that it's turning into Savannah Bananas. I don't on the surface. Did anybody have any passionate feelings here? Because he's had 5 starts. Sure, he hasn't played very long, but he has been incredible.
I think generally with all-star snubs, what I have found is the only way you have passion for it is when it's a player from your favorite team that got denied. Rarely do you feel an injustice so deeply that you want to go to bat for like another team's player that didn't get on there.
Yeah.
Well, and then you look at the flavor of the month or whatever. And then you look at the casual baseball fan. If you want to get their attention, that's more intriguing. Look, he only pitched that many games already, an All-Star.
Yeah.
And having that ability, you might
He
say,
struck out 12 Dodgers the other
right.
day.
And so I don't know. See, I'm more intrigued by that.
He's a supernova, and I think if you have a Major League Baseball exhibition in the middle of the summer that is meant to be an exhibition, and you've got this guy who for 2 months has been a phenom,
That's a good point.
show him to the people, and maybe the people want to see him. I get the Phillies' point of view. Like, they want to put on for their guys.
And then, now, Brandon, what about exhibitions? To me, the worst, and has gotten terrible, the NBA All-Star game.
Yeah, it's awful.
Don't you think? I would watch this. Didn't you want to get ratings? The world versus the United States and play a real game? Then your ego, you want to, because the world has the best players right now.
Maybe it would be a way to get him to give a fuck.
I think hockey just showed us how to do it. Hockey had a bad All-Star game, and they turned it into a 4-team tournament, the 4 nations.
Yeah.
I don't know. NBA probably doesn't have 4 nations they can do, but it could do a world versus
the world versus the U.S.
It would be better than what we've had.
U.S.
but
probably lose.
Bobby,
Yeah, right.
I just wonder how we went 80 years with All-Star games happening every summer and every winter in every sport, and they were fine. And then all of a sudden we get to the 2000s.
Is it money?
And we're like, we got to fix it.
To me,
East versus West, NFC versus AFC. Why are these?
When
problems?
I played in the Pro Bowl in 1994, they were still tackling.
Yeah.
I never forget this because, like I said, I had the same agent as Howie Long. I remember he was so ticked off at me, I made him jump off sides with the snap count twice.
Yeah.
So he came and he tattooed me.
Wait a second. You were hard counting in the Pro Bowl?
Yes.
bro, the score was like 17
to 3.
17 to 3.
Okay,
in a Pro
this
Bowl.
what happened. Okay, the first quarterback was Steve Young,
Isn't
and then
Super Bowl.
Favre, and then I came in the game with 4. I was the third guy. I came in the game 4 minutes left in the third quarter. The score was 3-3, and all of a sudden Reggie White is telling me, Abear, I got all my family members. I need the extra $20,000. We got
That's
to
what
win.
happened. They got too rich.
So
back then, they
I
needed
think
the extra
money.
20K.
So all of a sudden, we won 17-3. One of the most boring. I think your brother got the football. I threw Chris Carter with old Vikings a touchdown pass in that Pro Bowl, and I was there with Andre Rison, Deion Sanders, Albert Shelley, Arkansas State. He was a special teams representative. But the problem, the point I'm making is that they were really tackling.
Yeah.
It was like a game. Where now I think there's so much money involved that they had to stop the game. It was a joke. It's like an NBA basketball All-Star game. Nobody plays defense.
Yeah.
Well, all I know is I was beat up and playing a little over a quarter.
I'd be
because
kind of pissed if I was sore from the Pro Bowl. To be fair, I'd be like, what?
On a plane back from Hawaii.
Yeah, like what the fuck, dude?
On the topic of making money though, related to Christopher Sanchez and everything, the Phillies did give him the bonus for making the All-Star
that
game.
he would have gotten.
That he would have gotten.
Okay, good. That's good.
Yeah,
Wow.
it's a good organization.
Wow, good. Yeah, good.
Stand-up
good.
organization.
You know, that's noble and everything, but
It is
also,
rare though.
That's a little much.
Well,
Like he didn't make the All-Star team.
Speaking of getting paid,
Brandon Finks.
Speaking getting paid and making a bonus in 1987.
I like how you're pointing at me when you say that.
No, because I know you know this. You know, if you follow the Saints in 1987, the Saints had never had a winning season. Like Archie Manning, Peyton and Eli's dad, the best they ever did was 8-8. We won 9 games in a row that year. That was a strike year. We finished 12-3, and all of a sudden, so it's the last game. And the Bengals game, remember I was telling you? And then, my knee got all swollen. So, they said, we want you to sit out this game before the playoffs because we're in the playoffs. And I said, hell no. If I start 12 games, I'm getting a $250,000 signing bonus. And I told Jim Finks, Mr. Finks, to go, well, if you give me the signing bonus, I'll sit out. Oh, no, you got to play. I said, well, I'm playing. I was getting shot up during the week, my knee drained, just so, because you practice, you're going to play.
Yeah.
And end up playing well. I had we played the Packers. I think I had like 3 touchdown passes.
Yeah.
So then we got waxed by the Vikings. The Vikings kicked our ass. They had Chris Doman, Keith Millard. Oh God, it was we like the JV against the varsity. But then they went to San Francisco, beat the 49ers, and then lost to Washington. And like it was a muddy game.
A lot of good teams.
That was the Anthony Carter Vikings?
Yes.
Yeah.
And AC, Mr. Finks, I said, I played with Anthony Carter, the Michigan Panthers. I told him to sign Anthony Carter, and he didn't want to pay the receivers. Anthony Carter had all-purpose yards. He ran back a punt against us. He caught a touchdown. He caught a Hail Mary. Had like 15 yards, total yards. And I told, and out of respect, I never said, hey, Jim, say, Mr. Finks, I thought you could play, but he changed the subject on me. I don't want to I don't want to hear that.
SEC Media Days are happening.
Yeah.
Anything happened yet other than Brian Kelly walking up to the podium and doing, hey, everybody get up and cheer, and nobody cheered?
Yeah, I mean, this is actually kind of a consistent thing with Kelly at SEC Media Days is I can't, like, to the point where maybe it's actually a bit. He always seems to think that the reporters are going to treat him like an LSU like fan event, like a touchdown club, and it never goes over like a touchdown club. Every year there's like a joke or something that just lands flat. But
when he's trying to even change his accent, come on, just be yourself. I mean, you're from up north. Nothing wrong with being up north.
What if yourself is changing your accent?
Well, the thing is, some people will always view him as a carpetbagger.
Are you calling him a carpetbagger?
Yeah. Right now, you just win. We welcome carpetbaggers. You got to get to the playoffs.
I have a great question about that. But real quick, why did you walk into this room?
I have it on good authority from the words of Mark Titus to come in here, and I had to ask you a question, sir. Are you aware of the Seinfeld clip, the George Costanza clip?
And do you know it's the Big Salad? It's the Big Salad episode. And do you know
bring this up, TJ.
Do you know that clip? People doesn't matter how many wins or touchdown passes you've thrown. You know, your college buddies, high school buddies. You know, they play all these reruns now. And you might say, "Oh man, I just saw you on Seinfeld." I go, "Yeah, that was like mid '90s," and you saw the rerun. They recognize me more by being on Seinfeld. More than anything it did in NFL or anything to do with sports. That's how big Seinfeld is. And you know what I got? George autographed the script.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
We used to have it framed.
So I have that frame. And so T-Bow's brother-in-law, who's a screenwriter, is that what you call Nico?
Yeah.
And so he's going to inherit that from me. But I was on, it's a fun name to say, you know, Bobby Abear. But that's, here it is.
Hold on, turn it up.
For the Atlanta Falcons is Bobby Abear. No on, which I find fascinating. You know, it's Hebert, Herbert, Abear, Hebert. Abear. It's a fun name to pronounce. Try and say it. Yeah, take a shot. Abear. All right, now. You know what?
Did they tell you they were going to do that?
No.
I think my mom's story, I want to say, is that she was just watching the episode, and it just came up in the wild, and she had like just started watching Seinfeld at the time.
And you know who put that? He's famous. Bald head. I'm trying to think of his name.
Larry David.
Larry David's the one who put that in there.
How did y'all get Larry David out of that, by the way?
Because I bald.
I guess Seinfeld.
Bald
Yeah,
head, Seinfeld.
Yeah,
Right.
like who's like the writer?
Yeah,
The
got
guy
it.
in charge.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, yeah, and like he's like the. He was the actual genius behind
Correct,
Seinfeld,
yeah.
right?
One of them, I think.
Yeah,
It was him and Jerry, too, but yeah.
Yes, it's a team effort, but I know that's kind of like the split that people
Yeah.
try to make it into.
A lot of the writing, and I said, like, who put you in there? I said,
But that is an interesting distinction, because a lot of people think the last name's Herbert, and it actually is not. It's Hebert. It's Abear, and that's like Justin Herbert. That's the
English for Anglo-Saxon.
That is the anglicized version of our name. We all come from the same original kind of Germanic tribe, and the French people became Abear, and the ones who went to England became Herbert.
Yeah.
Big
So in other words, Justin Herbert's big. I'm a big dude, but I think he's bigger than me.
Brandon's
So yeah, you're way bigger than all of us. Are you Germanic? You look kind of Germanic.
I have no idea. No clue what my lineage is.
You look like you come from good
Scottish,
Western European,
Scottish is what I've always been
stuff.
Yeah, well, I think Walker. I like this Scottish. How about
Giant Celt
Yeah, big Celt
or a Pict.
Yeah.
What are y'all doing right now?
We're thinking we're
I don't-
naming,
nerding out.
I don't
we're
get
naming
anything.
ancient barbarian tribes
are
that
you
you
both
could be descended from.
Genealogy nerds?
Yeah.
No.
I'm the number one.
He's a genealogy.
I've
savant.
never looked into. I can't tell you anybody in my family past my grandfather.
I trace my ancestor to William the Conqueror, almost 1,000 years.
Yeah.
When they went to England and conquered in the Normans.
How the fuck can you do that?
You can do anything.
I'll be damned. Yeah. Kevin Garnett, sorry.
It's like, I'm sorry, I can't.
No, you can research
I
it now.
forgot.
Right now with technology, it's amazing what you could find out. I always want to go on that PBS show. What's that?
Antique Roadshow?
No. About this the other day. I don't know. I didn't know what y'all were talking about.
No, it's a PBS. It's I can't think of the guy. He's African American, light skin. He hosts the show, and he has these movie stars and all that. I said, I'm gonna tell my kids, you want to give me a gift? Get me on that show.
Is it the Genealogy Roadshow?
No,
the Antique Roadshow?
Ancestors.
Finding
That guy, Finding Your Roots. Yeah, you just put it up there. Finding Your Roots. I want to get on this.
I feel like we could get you on fire.
I want to.
I don't have a lot of pull in American television, but I feel like that shouldn't be that big of a.
I want to go like even PBS, whatever, and because I'm so proud of there was two brothers, Antoine and Etienne Hebert. They landed in the New World in 1648, which is Acadie, now Nova Scotia. Then we lost the French and Indian War. And so the English kicked us out. We became French refugees, and now refugees. That's why I'm not against refugees, because I was once one. We all were, whatever. But then they couldn't settle in the 13 colonies because they were Protestant. So that's how they ended up in New Orleans, because they're Catholics. You know, and so that's how the whole Louisiana thing with Abear.
Shout out Antoine and Etienne Hebert.
Antoine, and I tell people, this is a trivia. Y'all never forget this. You learn something every day, and some of y'all might know this. He was recruited as a Cooper. What's a Cooper?
It's one of those little cars.
No. He was a barrel maker. A Cooper is a barrel maker. Think how important it was to store stuff. You had to make.
Sure.
You can't make a bad barrel, or you got to do something else.
Right.
Cooper.
You got to store. Yeah, a Cooper is he was a barrel maker. Got recruited. That'd be kind of boring every day. What are you doing every day? I'm making barrels. Making barrels. I'm Cooping.
Well, it's
making
like your
barrels.
ancestors. They just walked everywhere.
Probably, I guess. I don't know.
I mean, that's a bad joke. Okay,
I would
go ahead with the ad.
I don't have an ad. I'm just looking at the.
Okay, yeah. Look at the sheet. Okay. Oh wait, sorry. Back to SC Media Days.
No, back to LSU football. I want to ask you a question.
Okay, yeah. Hit me.
They better win.
Brian Kelly was the first one up today, right?
Yeah.
And Brian, every time we get closer to football season, I want to ask. And now I'm glad I have a card-carrying LSU fan. I had Mintz, who is an LSU fan, but I got you, a card-carrying LSU fan.
Yes.
How do y'all juxtapose the fact that Brian Kelly is a good coach with the fact that he just doesn't fit LSU at all? And if he goes 8-4, 9-3 again, if he goes 8-4, 9-3 again, all of you are going to throw him out and say he never fit.
So I think that I maintain that fit is an overrated point of focus because the only thing that matters is winning.
Yes,
now,
just
you can
win,
say-
baby.
Now, you can say that, like, maybe a bit of the ill fit is what leads to not winning.
Would Ed
Because they're tied
Orgeron have won that national title at LSU if he didn't fit like a glove?
No, he felt like a glove, but he was also the perfect time, the perfect moment. You were coming
Yeah.
out of this super long Miles era. What's his name? Tom Herman, like, left you last minute when he was going to be your coach. He ended up going to take, like, a bunch of elements came together, and it was a perfect storm of good.
Yeah.
To create that national championship.
Coach O got Joe Burrow to come. People don't realize to come to LSU.
Look,
Yeah.
Coach O was a damn good coach at LSU. I think he got lost in a little bit of the championship.
One of the greatest recruiters of all time, and he's my roommate in college.
But yeah, also their cousins.
And my cousin.
And what? Yeah, so you can't say you
Kind of
can't.
buried the lead on that one.
No, Coach O. What? Coach O's dad and my grandma are first cousins. On not the Abear side and my mom's side.
Yeah, they're a couple coon asses down from cutoff.
But
no.
anyway, LSU.
Okay, so here's what I was saying. So
there's no more passionate fan base than LSU fans. I will agree with that. And this is a very good program. It's a year to year. You got a guy right now who's done okay at LSU. He hasn't done what you thought he would, and he doesn't fit.
He hasn't done what you thought he would, but he's never been.
He hasn't been bad.
Terrible. So that's what's keeping him afloat. I mean, okay. So be clear about where the expectation is this year. He has to make the playoff.
It has to be.
This
year,
is
right?
the most complete team they have. They've invested so much in it. If this team doesn't make the playoff, that's a disaster. And then some very serious conversations come up.
Well, he has to be one of 12. It's not like the
That's
top
what I'm saying.
four.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. You got to be one of 12. Now, I will say this: the idea of fit, though, the guy that I use to kind of maybe push against this a bit is Jay Johnson. Jay Johnson, the baseball coach, for those that don't know, won an Natty.
Don't get me into this.
I'm not. All I'm saying, we don't need to get on Jay
You
Johnson.
can plug anything into that job, and it's going to keep going.
Well, but could you say the same thing about football? The last three coaches all won.
No, because the LSU baseball is
Nick
far and
Saban-
away the best program.
But Nick Saban wasn't a fit. He was a carpetbagger. I guess does West Virginia count as a carpetbagger? I don't know.
A border.
Still coming from Michigan State.
Nick
all the way
Saban fits
down.
in the South in football because he will cut your fucking throat to win, and that fits at LSU and it fits at Alabama.
I guess my point is the idea, unless it's a deeper conversation about how does fit factor into winning, and maybe that's one of the original causes of why it hasn't been as good.
Yeah.
Then fit, I think, is maybe a valid criticism. But what I've learned is, okay, if Brian Kelly goes on a losing streak, all you hear about and talking to people around town is like, well, he's fucking golfing all summer.
Yeah.
He's never there. It's just, and then they beat Alabama and you don't hear a fucking word.
So
somebody starts to lose. You start hearing, well, he's running around, not Kelly necessarily, but like, oh, he's running around with women, blah, blah. And then a couple wins, couple big SEC wins, and you don't hear any of those stories.
That's an interesting sentence you just said because Auburn is doing that to Hugh Freeze right now.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
He got to win.
He's getting beat on the recruiting trail by Alabama and Georgia and other teams, and Auburn fans are revolting because he's playing too much golf.
Yeah, see,
and that is now a thing, and it is illustrating the fact that being an SEC coach could be the best thing in the world for you. It is also fucking miserable and the worst. If you lose out on a 4-star from Opelika and you happen to play golf that weekend, Auburn fans made up a fake affair to get their last coach fired.
Yep.
Now they're doing the golf thing with Hugh Freeze. Auburn fans have gone plumb ass crazy. They're gone. They were always crazy when they were trying to keep up with Alabama, but once Georgia got to the top of the sport and they're getting it from both sides, they have lost their fucking minds.
Well, and
all SEC fans have lost their minds at this point.
And they've had a recent history. Like, let's say you were someone born with a maybe being a bit prone to like mental illness.
Yeah.
Like if the right amount of factors came together to make you schizophrenic, like in that way, Auburn having Georgia and Alabama as their biggest rivals, like they were kind of born that way.
That'll drive you crazy.
And then you had the insanity of winning the championship with Cam Newton, only realize it was only Cam Newton, not the head coach at all. You have to move on from then.
Yeah.
Then you get Gus Malzahn. That's good. It's like their coaching situation. They're paying so many people not to coach. They still have so much money somehow, but they can't buy their way to the Georgia or the Alabama level. Yes, it's mental illness.
Along the Auburn Georgia note, I think you can look this up. I want to say that Auburn and Georgia might be. I don't think it's the longest.
The oldest.
South's oldest rivalry.
Deep South's oldest rivalry.
Yeah, it's a Deep South's oldest rivalry.
Now think about that. And somebody would guess Auburn, Alabama.
Yeah, I know.
So you wouldn't guess like Auburn, Georgia. Yeah, that always caught my attention.
Well, LSU's most played series in the SEC.
Mississippi State.
Mississippi State.
Right, and they don't play no more.
I know.
I haven't played the last 2 years. I'm
Yeah.
I'm fine with that. But
No, I'm not.
well, the SEC took Alabama and LSU away from us. We played them both consecutively for 120 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I was like, thank God, thank God. And they gave us Georgia and Texas instead.
Oh, yeah. Hello. But it just shows you SEC. But, talking to Coach Kelly, or speaking of Coach Kelly, is that, what's the difference between him and, like, Texas A&M's program and LSU? Like, for instance, Jimbo Fisher.
Yeah,
I want to say they paid Jimbo Fisher like $60 million or whatever it might be to go away.
yeah.
See, even though he doesn't win this year, LSU don't have as much rich Texans.
No.
That they're not going to pay him $60 million to go away because he got a $100 million guaranteed contract.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's the thing.
It's 10 years and it goes down by 10 million every.
So
year.
doing radio in New Orleans and
That's a crazy contract.
because we the official station of the LSU Fighting Tigers and New Orleans Saints, and I tell the fans, y'all better hope LSU wins. Because Coach Kelly ain't going nowhere.
No.
Yeah.
And he might want to fire, but they're not going to eat that $60 million.
Yeah. Well, boys, that was. Oh, by the way, SEC Media Days. I harped on it last week of how it's just a circle jerk and it's stupid. It's the worst thing we do.
Yeah.
I'm absolutely going to use it for content all week.
All week
long. I will wring that rag and all the water's coming out of that thing.
I mean, Greg Sankey's already opened the day by jerking off the SEC.
Yeah,
He
but that's why he gives a State of the SEC speech every year. Is everybody surprised when he comes out and says the SEC's good? I mean, the man's a millionaire many times over because of the SEC.
Greg Sankey, thinking of power he has, the NCAA, what?
Yeah.
Go away.
He is,
Go away.
he is the most powerful man in college football. All right, boys. Thank you, Bobby, for
All right,
stopping
thank you.
by.
It was awesome.
And
awesome, Brandon.
Family.
Connor, quit clapping, please.
Sorry.
Family.
Yeah, will you say the word family, please?
Family?
Yeah, thank you very much. All right.
And that's how ball is done, too.
Yeah, once I say the show's over, just say that's how ball is done. That's all I want you to do.
Okay.
So everybody, the show is over. We'll see you tomorrow.
That's how ball is done.
Perfect.
That sounds kind of gay, though. That's how ball is done.